Hello viewers. QualityWings has just released their long-awaited update to their 787, which brings a host of new features, including VATSIM transponder capability, custom cell count codes, engine windmilling effects, a new load agent, retooled weather radar, and of course, Service Pack 2 adds what will be for many simmers the most eagerly awaited feature, the newest member of the 787 family, the Dash 10. Which is seen here in the livery of the launch customer for the Dash 10, Singapore Airlines. The Dash 10 is the longest member of the 787 family of aircraft, and the fuselage has actually been stretched by nearly 40 feet to a total length of 224 feet. And it can now accommodate a whopping 330 passengers in two-class configuration, compared to a mere 242 in two-class config in the original Dash 8. It does, however, have a decreased range of 6,430 nautical miles compared to 7,350 nautical miles in the 787-8. The Dash 10 was designed by Boeing to compete with the Airbus A350-900 and to entice airlines looking to replace older 777s and A330s in their fleets. And it certainly does have ramp appeal. So obviously we're going to want to fly this beautiful airplane today. You may recognize that we are in Everett, Washington at the Boeing factory in Paine Field, where this aircraft is fresh out of the paint shop, and we'll be doing a very short hop from Paine Field, Papa Alpha Echo in Everett, to Boeing Field, Bravo Foxtrot India in Seattle. The aircraft is currently cold and dark, so we're going to power it up, set up the FMC, start up the engines, and take it over for the very short hop to Boeing Field in Seattle. So let's go ahead and hop in the cockpit and get started. Welcome aboard the flight deck. So we're going to go ahead and take this cold and dark cockpit to a powered up state. First, let's go to the overhead panel here and set our battery switch to on. Here we go. We have external power connected. Let's just confirm that by going to our compass here. And right underneath the compass, there's a click spot, actually, that QualityWings has implemented. And if you mouse over it, it should say QualityWings control panel. Click on that, and that'll bring up the QualityWings control panel, and you can make sure the external power is connected. The 787 tends to drain the battery real quick, so you want to connect the external power as soon as possible. And you can click on either the left or right forward external power switches, and either one will activate the other one. So there we go, external power is now on. Want to turn on the nav light switches, since power is now being delivered to the aircraft. Close our control panel. And you can hear the aircraft being powered up there. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and start the APU. We'll rotate the APU start selector to start momentarily, and then allow it to smoothly return to on. And the APU should be starting up. Next, we're going to ensure on the air conditioning panel that the trim air switches are on, and that the pack switches are in auto, as they are now. Okay, then we'll come down to the FMS here and go to the ident page. Check the model number 787-10 with the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 engines. We're using AIRAC cycle 1910 for the nav data, and it is active for the date we're flying. So we'll go to the systems page and check that hydraulic quantities did not display either RF or OF. And then we'll go to the circuit breakers page and just make sure there's no circuit breakers that are open or tripped. So that's all good. Then we'll go to the engine display page up here and just check that all the indications are indicating normally. There is oil quantity. And we want a minimum of 18 quarts. We have 21, so we're fine in both engines. And we're going to check the ECAS display up here. Just make sure that all the indications are what you would expect for power off, for engine powered off state. Okay, we'll go back to the overhead panel. Check that the tail switch and wing switch are normal. They are. Heading reference switch is a normal. And then we'll go IRSs to on. Once again, ensure the battery switch is on, IFE passenger seats switch is on, cabin utility switch is on. APU generators are on. Verify that the off lights are illuminated and the generator control switches are all on as well. Left wiper select is off. And then we'll go up here, flight deck door power switch is on. CCR resets, guards are closed. Emergency light armed and guard closed. Service interphone switch is off and the guard is closed on the passenger oxygen switch. And then we'll come over to the window heat panel and ensure that the backup window heat switches are on, and as well the primary window heat switches are on. Then we'll come down to the hydraulic panel and ensure that the left and right engine primary switches are on. They are. And verify that the fault lights are illuminated on the C1 and C2 electric pump selectors, and as well that they're both in the off position. And we're going to verify the fault lights are illuminated on the electric demand pump selectors, and that they're also both in the off position. Our seatbelt switch off for now. Turn on the overhead panel lighting. Landing light switches are off, beacon is off, logo light off, taxi lights, strobe lights, and runway turn-off lights off. Then we'll come over to the engine panel and ensure that the EEC mode selectors switches are in the normal position, and the start selectors are in the normal position as well. Fuel jettison panel, we're going to ensure that the fuel jettison nozzle switches are off, fuel to remain switch is in, and the fuel panel is set, so all the fuel pump switches are off, and the cross speed switch is off as well. Fuel balance switch off. Onto the anti-ice panel, we'll just ensure that the wing anti-ice is auto, and engine anti-ices are also both auto. Coming up here to the top right side of the panel, ELT switch is armed and the guard is closed. The humidification switch is on. Then coming down to the air conditioning panel, equipment's cooling switch is in auto, recirculation fans on, pack switch is auto, trim air switch is on, ventilation switch in normal. Coming down to the pressurization panel, outflow valve switches forward and after in auto, and verify that the manual lights are extinguished. They are. And we'll check that the landing altitude selector is in, and that the right wiper selector is in the off position. Okay, then we'll come down to the glare shield here. Turn on the flight director on both the captain's and first officer side. Ensure that our ND mode selector is in plan, or sorry, map, not plan. And we'll reduce the range here to 10 nautical miles. Weather switch is off. Traffic terrain off. Auto throttle arm switches in arm. Autopilot disengage bar is up. Bank limit selector to auto, and altitude increment selector in auto as well. Okay, let's come to the sidewalls here and test the oxygen. We see the yellow cross momentarily in the flow indicator, so we'll come to the forward panels here. Ensure that air data selector is in auto and the PFD MFD selector is in normal. We'll verify that the flight mode initiations are correct. So auto throttle mode is blank, roll mode is in toga, and the pitch mode is also in toga. And the AFDS status is in flight director. All right, we'll come over to the landing gear panel, ensure the landing gear is down and the alternate gear switch is normal and the guard is closed. We'll move the auto brake selector to RTO. Then we'll come over to the aisle and control stand. Ensure the speed brake lever is down. Reverse thrust levers are down and the forward thrust levers are closed. Set the parking brake. On the stabilizer cutout switches, we want to make sure that the guards are closed and they're in norm. And the fuel control switches are in cutoff. Transponder mode selector to standby. Flight deck door access to auto. Alright, and then we'll go back to our CDU, go to position init, and we are at Paine Field. That's Kilo Papa Alpha Echo. Okay, then we're going to go to the route page and initiate our departure. Airport KPAE.
Identity horizon 2884.
And Boeing Field is Kilo Bravo Foxtrot India.
Ready to contact Kilo South Paine Airport, turn left, heading 140.
Our flight number
140, horizon 2884.
is going to be Boeing 44. We're going to put that in our flight number. And then let's initiate the departure here. So winds are variable and they're kind of shifting over to the north. So we're going to depart off of 34 left. And then we're going to be arriving at Boeing Field via the Jawbone 6 arrival. No transition. We're going to be tracking direct to Jawbone. And ILS 14 right since the winds are out of the south at Boeing Field. Sogi. Route.
Roger 2884, climb and maintain 7,000. I maintain 7,000, right?
And I want to put in Jawbone here, so let me do that. Juliet Alpha Whiskey Bravo November. Dig in. Click activate. Execute.
10,000.
Okay, let's go back to init ref. Zero fuel weight is initiated. This is going to be a very, very short flight, so we're going to assume a cruise altitude of 7,000. And cost index 85.
United 2223, reduce speed to 210.
And let's assume
2889, reduce speed to 210.
reserves of 6,000 pounds. Okay, then we'll come to the EFB here. This is a pretty cool feature of the QualityWings 787. Okay, then I'm going to go to performance and get our performance numbers. Copy FMC data. Okay. Thrust rating, we're going to assume D-rated takeoff thrust at minus 20%. Flaps 5 takeoff. Conditions are dry. Winds have shifted back around to come from the south now, so they're favoring 16 right for departure. So let's do that actually. Let's go to departure. 16 right. Execute. Okay. And once again, we're going to go side keyboard, copy FMC data. Okay, that's good. Once again, Paine Field, 16 right, conditions dry. Takeoff thrust D-rated, 20%, flaps 5. Winds 224.5 knots. Outside air temperature 11 degrees C. QNH 1016 or altimeter 3000. Alright, let's click on and takeoff weight 342,041 pounds. CG 15%. Let's click on calc, confirming the takeoff weight, and V1 is going to be 129, rotate to 131, and V2 is going to be 142 knots, VREF 136. Okay, let's go ahead and send this output over to the FMC. And we'll come back to the FMC here and click accept. 129, 131, 142 ain't that cold, and takeoff thrust D-rated. Ensure that our takeoff thrust limit is minus 20% D-rated thrust, and we'll set climb 2 for our climb power. Okay.
Traffic, Cherokee 37, Lippert, 4 mile, 3 mile final, 16 right.
Let me set up the MCP here for departure. I'm going to use V2 plus 15 and set that in our IAS window here. So V2 plus 15 is 157. Okay, and heading on our departure, let's 160. And initial altitude is going to be our cruise altitude of 7,000.
So 2642, man, your altitude maybe 9,000.
Activate VNav. Heading select. Alright. More or less ready, I think, for our engine start procedure. Let me go to the checklist real quick. Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen tested 100%. Flight instruments. Heading 074, altimeter 3000. Check
Ladies
that.
and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain. We'd like to add our welcome aboard today's
And click
flight.
normal
We're
to
just
move on to
finishing up
before
our
start
last bit of
checklist.
paperwork, and once we've done that,
Okay, now I'm
we'll
going to
push
go
back.
on
We're estimating
to
on-time
the overhead
departure.
panel.
In your cabin today
Turn
are some
on
of
our
finest
passenger
flight
seatbelts.
attendants who are there for your comfort, but most of all for your safety. So we ask that you give them undivided attention.
And I'm going to go ahead and get our doors closed here.
Relax, and I'll update you on our progress once we're airborne.
Alright, forward nav cargo closed. And L4, L2, L1 doors closed.
Alaska 667, connect approach 133.65. Good day.
Alright, L2 is closing now.
Before start checklist.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Alright,
just
I'm going to use
closed the main
GSX
cabin
here
door.
to
All personal
remove
cellular
the air
telephones
stairs.
must be turned off and stowed for the duration of the flight.
There we go.
Attendants, prepare doors for departure. Cross-check.
Paine traffic 37 November, turning right base 16.
I'm going to turn off the external power, and we'll disconnect the external power and remove the wheel chocks. Again, this aircraft really does have ramp appeal. The original 787-8 had a lot of ramp appeal too, but I don't know, there's something about lengthening and stretching a fuselage of an airplane that's as streamlined as a 787 that just adds so much in terms of aesthetics.
Final 16 right, Paine traffic.
Beautiful airplane. And of course you can see the new engine windmilling effects here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our engine started on the stand actually right here. And then we'll just go ahead and taxi out. The reason I'm going to do that is because if I had better pushback like an X-plane, I think I could actually just move the airplane forward. I don't think I can do that with GSX using the tug. I think I can only push it back. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to start the engines at the stand and then taxi forward under my own power. Okay, let's turn on the beacon. Let's go back down to the checklist. Passenger signs are on.
All right, it'll be a left seat
MCP
takeoff.
is set.
Taxi
Takeoff
routes,
speeds are
braking,
set.
Instructions, standard reject procedures.
Yep.
We'll depart via the SID, climb to initial altitude.
263 approach, thank you, expect 16 right, 17 9,000.
You'll fly the airplane.
CDU
on the
pre-flight.
checklist.
Hydraulic demand pump switches on auto. And electrical demand pump switches on auto as well. Verify that the fault lights are extinguished. They are. And we'll turn on our fuel pumps. No fuel in our center tanks today, just in the wing tanks. Those are on. Taxi and takeoff briefing. Okay, one last thing we're going to do is set transponder to transponder. Verify the before start checklist is complete. Press normal. Okay. We're going to start the left engine first. We're going to move the start ignition selector to the start position, and then move the left fuel control switch to run. Okay. Engine 1 start selector to start.
Starting engines.
And fuel control lever to run. And auto start indication is showing. Oil pressure. N2 is rising.
Yes, 1550, letting 240, vector final. Alaska 19.
We can see the engine starting there.
10,000.
TPR rising. N1 rising. And engine is stable. We have running indicating over the indicating for engine 1.
Flaps 1063, Chaseplane, thank you, plan 16 right.
And then we're going to go ahead and start engine 2.
1550, connect approach 133.65.
Engine 2 start selector to start, and engine 2 fuel control lever to run. Auto start is indicating. Oil pressure. Oil pressure. N2 is rising, EGT is rising. Nice view, that engine starting there.
American 578, approach, expect 16 right.
Before taxi check.
Okay. That's a good start. The engine is running, and the engine is stabilizing. Okay, let's do the before taxi flow here. APU off. Engine anti-ice to auto. We're gonna check our flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, pedals, full left, full right, neutral. We'll set flaps 5. And our trim setting is going to be 5.5. So let's set that right now. 5.5. All good. Okay, let's do our checklist. Anti-ice, recall check, flight controls check, ground implement is clear. Normal.
779, descend 7,000.
Let's go back to CDU. Okay, let's turn on the taxi light and the runway turn-off lights, and we'll begin our taxi.
Alaska 1063, reduce speed to 210.
Parking brakes off.
Alaska 1063, approach 133.65.
Okay, so we're gonna turn left up here on Bravo,
Flight attendants, please be
then
seated
down to
in
Alpha
departure.
1.
American 578, reduce speed to 210.
And these engines are incredibly powerful, so
Yeah, 320.
honestly, just idle thrust is enough to get it moving. I'm sure if you're taking off with a lot more fuel and payload, that would be a different story. You may not need as much thrust to get, or you may need a lot more thrust to get moving.
Alaska 779, approach 133.65. Have a good day.
Beautiful aircraft. Pretty excited to get this flying. And you see just how much you have to overshoot because of the increased distance between the main gear and the nose gear there. That was crazy. Okay, we're going to taxi straight ahead and hold short of 16 right here.
Alaska 10 described.
Let's set our parking brakes. Okay, let's do our before takeoff checklist here. Flaps are set, flaps 5. Before takeoff checklist is complete. We're going to do a runway entry procedure. Landing lights on, strobe lights on. And transponder to Alt, TARA.
American 578, change runway, expect 165.
Let's put weather and traffic
Runway verify.
on our MFD.
Alaska 21, heading 250, speed 210. Then Alaska 21, turn right, heading 270. Alaska 21, turn right, heading 290.
Okay, we've been cleared for takeoff. We're gonna increase our throttles,
American 578, descend at 7,000.
and then we'll press toga.
I think there's an Army copter called Seattle approach. You were unreadable. Try approach 125, 100.
Okay, 40% N1. Toga.
Check thrust.
Thrust for F. Takeoff power set.
80 knots.
Check.
American 578, connect approach on 133.65.
B1. Rotate. B2.
We're gonna smoothly rotate to V2 plus 15.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Delta 1823, turn right heading 270.
And we'll engage our autopilot.
Autopilot on.
Autopilot in command.
Horizon 2193, set approach expect
Climb
16
2.
right, descend at 8,000.
And we're gonna start our turn
Delta 2880,
northbound here.
speed 210.
Let's go to heading of 320.
Flaps
Oops,
1.
320. Flaps 1.
Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Gun 3373, set approach line 16 right.
With our flight
Delta
underway,
1823, maintain 8,000, connect approach 133.65.
Gonna increase the range here to
If you're not a member, please visit us at
20 nautical miles in our MFD nav page.
In just a few minutes, we will be beginning our complimentary.
We're reaching our cruising altitude of 7,000 feet. We're gonna track on heading 320 for a while, and then we're gonna turn back to head towards Jawbone, and then we'll join the Jawbone 6 arrival.
Please.
Accept. All right, that's good. And let's complete the approach checklist. Now we're gonna go ahead and track direct to Jawbone. And I'm gonna activate LNAV mode, and we're gonna begin our turn to Jawbone there.
737, you're gonna follow them on the downwind for now.
About 20 miles away from Jawbone. It's been a while since I've flown it. I tend to fly airplanes now that have FS2 crew just because it makes things much more realistic. Flying things, especially a complex, large aircraft like a single pilot IFR, is not easy, for sure. Just far too many things to keep track of. So it'd be great if FS2 crew could do an add-on for the QualityWings 787. I'm going to make an amendment to our flight plan. From Dig-In, I'm going to go direct to Isogi.
Skywest 3373, just going to maintain 6,000.
That looks good. Execute.
Sky 3373, sure, running
Okay.
360.
It's NAS Vidby Island down there, Naval Air Station. You often see a lot of if you visit the Seattle area and you see any EF-18 growlers flying around, that's because they're probably flying out of NAS Vidby. Again, it is a really beautiful livery, beautifully modeled in the exterior.
Scout 3373, heading 340.
All right, I'm going to roll our altitude down to 2,200, which is the altitude at which we're going to intercept the glide slope for the ILS Yankee 4 right, 14 right at Boeing Field. Oh, that's what I was looking for, nav radio. Okay. Okay, let's brief the approach plate and verify the numbers here real quick. Okay, ILS runway 14 right at Boeing Field, Seattle, Washington. Localizer frequency 110.9er, India Bravo Foxtrot India. That's correct. Final approach course 135. Final approach fix Toge, which we will cross at 1600. That's correct. Decision altitude is 308 feet. Airport elevation 22 feet. And if you need to go missed, we'll climb on the localizer southeast course to cross the Ochese intersection, which is the DME 3.9, at or below 1,500 feet. Then climb to 6,400 feet on the localizer southeast course and outbound in the Seattle BOR radial 104 to Blaco intersection, and we'll hold there. And if we need to, we'll continue to climb in the hold to 6,400 feet. That's it for the approach plate briefing. And let me turn on the panel lights here. Oops, not that one. But there we go.
Descent checklist.
190 knots to CLAC.
Approach checklist.
It's completed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please check that your seatbelt is securely fastened.
Okay, we started our descent
To prepare for landing,
down
it will
to
be necessary to
2,200.
collect all service items, as well as any other items you wish to discard, such as
And
tissue
if you haven't done this before, the ILS 14 approach to 14 right approach to Boeing Field is really pretty, especially on a day like this where the ceilings aren't too low. You should get a pretty nice view of the city out of the left side of the airplane during the approach. Okay, and I'm seeing the ILS indications on the PFD here, IBFI, 135 degrees final approach course, DME 26. Nice.
Seattle final Delta 1455.
Once we get a bit closer, I'm going to go ahead and arm the approach.
190 on the speed assigned.
Delta 1455, Seattle approach, maintain 4,000.
I'm going to go flaps 1
Maintain 4,000, Delta 1455.
and reduce speed to 200 knots. Okay, glide slope is alive. I'm gonna go ahead and arm the approach. Gonna go auto brake to level 2.
Alaska 124 field inside.
And I'm gonna need speed brakes to maintain our rate of descent here. And avoid overspeeding.
Clear visual approach runway 16 left, speed here is crashing, contact tower.
Alaska 124, clear visual approach 16 left, go into tower. Seattle approach here 2735, 9.7%.
Okay, I'm gonna roll our speed down to 180 knots.
Horizon 2735, stay approach, descend, maintain 4000.
1000 is 2735.
Kyle 3373, maintain 170 knots, or greater to Finca.
170 or greater to Finca.
Beautiful view of the city of Seattle up ahead. And we're going to be going right by downtown over Elliott Bay there to come in on final.
Gate 54, turn right, 140.
Flaps 5.
Runway 16 right.
140, going to 16 right, localizer left gate 54.
Ladies and gentlemen, in preparation for landing, please return all seat backs and tray tables to their upright and stowed position. Ensure all portable electronic devices are turned off and stow
Horizon
all
2569, turn left, 190 to join localizer for runway 16
We'll go
left.
flaps 10.
Return to their original position.
190, join localizer. 2569.
Apologies for the stutters there as the scenery is loading.
Center 3000, last gate 54.
Tower 3445, turn right, 070.
Right turn 070, this guy's 3445.
Okay, we're DME 14, or 13.2 now.
260, maintain 170 knots, Finca, contact tower.
170 Finca switch tower.
And the runway threshold is actually a DME 1.7 from the localizer. So that's something to take note of.
54, reduce you to 170.
Arm speed brakes.
Go to 170, last one.
Horizon 2735, turn 10 degrees left.
And left turn 2735.
Beautiful view of Seattle up ahead. Gonna turn on the runway turn off and taxi lights because we have a visual. Okay, and I'm gonna roll our airspeed down, localizer capture. Gonna roll our airspeed down to VRF plus 5, which is 141.
Cleared ILS, 16 right approach, last gate 54.
Horizon 5569, cleared ILS, runway 16 left approach.
Cleared ILS, 16
Flaps 15. Gear down.
45, 4 miles from Sea Lac, turn right, 140, maintain 4000 until establishment localizer, cleared ILS, runway 16 right approach.
Right turn 140, Sea Lac at above 4, cleared for the ILS, 16 right approach.
Please be safe.
Horizon 5569, maintain 170.
Flaps 20.
70 Douglas, 2569.
Flaps 18.
Maintain 170 knots, Finca, advise.
Flaps 20. Flaps 30.
170 take a last gate 54, welcome.
Okay, let's do our landing checklist.
Canada 34, crashing Delta 1455, turn right, 070.
Glide slope capture.
Delta 1455.
Seattle approach, ready, 22.
Okay, landing checklist. Speed brake armed, landing gear down, flaps 30.
Horizon 2569, maintain 160 knots, Douglas.
160 Douglas, right.
Beautiful.
Horizon 2249, Seattle approach, descend, maintain 5000.
5000, 2249. Airport, Seattle, last gate 54.
State 54, thank you, clear visual approach, runway 16 right, contact tower, good day.
Clear visual 16 right over tower, last gate 4, good night.
Horizon 5569, contact tower, good day.
Day 25.
Lake Union there. That's where Kenmore Air flies seaplanes all over the area up to Friday Harbor and the islands,
2735, turn left main 250.
San Juan Islands. Beautiful view. You can see the shadow of our airplane on the buildings up there in downtown. Space Needle, simply beautiful.
Cal 3445, maintaining 170 knots to Finca, contact tower, good day.
170 to Finca, over to towers, guys, 3445.
All right, auto land is armed. I don't actually trust that feature though, so been burned too many times in the past with the QualityWings 787, so I'm gonna land it manually. I will keep auto thrust armed though, or auto thrust active. But it's doing a really good job of tracking the ILS in. Nothing to complain about. Land 3. And at about 500 feet I'll take over. Just want to get a sense of how this thing handles. So the procedure for landing and flaring it, by the way, is once you get to about 30 or 20 feet, autopilot disarmed. Procedure once you want to start flaring is to raise the nose at most maybe 2 or 3 degrees and let the aircraft settle down gently.
200.
Seattle approach last 621 is 9.9 descending to 7,000, slowing to 200 shut now.
621, Seattle approach, maintain 5,000.
Set to 5,000, last 621.
Reverse green. $80 knots, 60 knots. Okay, we're gonna start braking here. My director's off. And we'll exit off the runway up here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Actually, we'll go on to the next taxiway.
Alaska 505, turn right heading 070.
with your seatbelt fastened
Right heading
until the captain
070,
turns off the
Alaska
fasten
505.
seatbelt sign. At that time, please remember to check around your seating area, in the seat pockets, and overhead bins for all personal belongings that you brought on board. Please take care when opening the overhead bins, as the contents may have shifted during flight.
Speed brakes retracted. All right, and we're gonna turn right here.
Heading 1804 miles from Agony, maintain 5,000 until established localized to cleared ILS from 16 right approach.
And with this incredibly long airframe again, you got to be kind of careful not to drag your main wheels or your nose gear off the taxiway or into the taxi lights or anything like that. Again, absolutely nothing to fault with the exterior modeling of this aircraft. QualityWings did an amazing job of that. Ground handling is incredible too. And when I was bringing it in on manually for that landing, it felt pretty good too. So I think the only real defect with this is the way the autopilot and the FMS handle the routing and navigation sometimes. Anyway, I'm going to stop here and do a quick replay. And then we'll do the after landing checklist and bring it in for parking and shutdown.
Runner 2249, contact tower, maintain
Gear coming down, and again, just absolutely beautiful lines in the 787-10. That stretched fuselage really does lend it a lot of aesthetic appeal.
621, 1 mile from Agony, turn left heading 190, maintain 5,000, double 7 localizer, cleared ILS, runway 16 right approach.
190 Hill established, cleared the ILS, 16 right approach, last 6 miles.
Line 22 heavy, 7 miles from Finca, turn right heading 140, maintain 3,000 till established localizer, cleared ILS, runway 16 right approach.
140, 3,000 till established, cleared ILS, 16 right approach, line 22 heavy. Approach compass 6038, set of 8,300, descending VFR 16 right.
Compass 6038, good approach, maintain 4,000.
Maintain 4,000, compass 6038.
Line 22 heavy, maintain 170 knots to Finca, contact tower now.
170, Finca, going to tower now.
Compass 6038, turn right heading 070.
Right turn 070, compass 6038.
Compass 6038, reduce speed out of 190, cautionary turbine to about 7 miles of trail of heavy air by 330.
Say the speed again for compass.
Compass 5835, reduce speed to 190.
190, compass 5835.
Compass 6038, maintain 170 knots to Finca, contact tower now.
170 at Finca, tower now, compass 6038, good night.
Center 2397, turn left heading 230.
Left 230, is in 2397. Airport side, compass 5030.
Compass 5835, roger, clear visual approach, runway 16 right, maintain 170 knots to Finca.
Right, clear visual approach, runway 16 right, 170 Finca, compass 5030.
Okay, the after landing procedure. Auto brake off, speed brake retracted, flaps up. Landing lights off, strobes off. APU start. Fault light is extinguished. And transponder as transponder. Weather radar off. Okay, runway turn off lights off, and taxi lights off. So we're gonna turn left here and taxi slightly past this parking spot that's over, this empty parking spot that's over on the left, and then we'll shut down. And the ground crew will either push us back into that parking spot or push us into the hangar over here later on. Okay, that's a good place to stop. Parking brake set. Okay, and let's check that the APU generators are on. APU is running. Okay, let's go ahead and put the fuel control switches to cutoff. Seatbelts off. Beacon off. Hydraulic pumps off. IRS selectors off. And fuel pumps off. Engine anti-as off. And transponder to standby. And that's it, we're shut down. Our ground crew has pushed us back into this spot here. So let's go ahead and request deboarding services from GSX. Connect the chocks, connect external power, turn on external power, and we'll open the doors. Alright, so that was the first flight in the 787-10. Again, beautifully modeled airplane. For the price, I think QualityWings did a great job with it. Alright, hey, thanks for watching, and you have a great one. Take care.